Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to the month of April 2024. This is Sun, Moon, and Rising. Big changes are coming in your work environment as well as your romantic life. We're going to dive into how this is one of the most important months of your reality as we have a total solar eclipse coming through the sky on April the 8th, which is a very big deal in your chart that can completely transform your work environment for you in a very intense way. But as well, we have some frustration in the love romance part of your chart and some significant changes in how you meet that marriage partner, business partner, or audience in your life. It's going to be an important month. There's some rare events that haven't happened since 1941 and the 1994-95 timeframe. So this is a significant month of April that has a huge impact for all of us on the trajectory of our lives. Welcome to my channel if you are brand new. I am Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac and the whole sign house system. I hope you don't hear that truck outside my window. Come check out my Sky Reader class. I'm teaching that class, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life, on the middle of April at 6 weeks. We have live classes, Q&A calls every week for question and answer at different times for different time zones. We also have a Facebook group for your homework. I have an assistant helping me catch your homework and see how you're doing. This high-touch learning environment doesn't happen as a resell. You either come live or you don't get it at all. But if you can't make all the classes or any of them, it doesn't matter. You get this at my teaching platform to use at your own pace afterwards. So if that interests you, check out my description box where I have a link and you can get on the list for the open cart for the tuition enrollment in the beginning of April. And it is quite affordable. So find out more about that in my description box below. And I hope to see some of you in class. So, okay, Scorpio, let's get rolling and talk about this story. Holy man, guys, I'm taking 30 minutes per every video because I can't get this done for each sign in any shorter time frame. Settle in, have a coffee, get a cup of tea, get a pen, paper. We're going to start by talking about the planetary ingresses of Mars and Mercury and Venus, followed by the energy of each thing, breaking it down in a chronological order. Does that sound good? That's how we're going to tackle this today. Now, the first thing I want to mention here is that you're going to experience the movement of Mercury on April 1st to 25th, retrograde in your sixth house of work. Now, just to be clear, Mercury has been here since March 10th and does not leave until May 15th. That sounds like a long time in one sign, which is Aries, doesn't it? Your sixth house, whole sign house. It's because of a retrograde. And that means that this is an elemental fire year, and he will be retrograding also in Leo in the summer and in the fall in Sag in your houses of 2 earnings, 6 job, and 10 career. No two ways about it for all of you Scorpios. This is a major change year for your money and career stuff. Thank you, Lord Mercury. You last had this amount of change in this calendar year of 2017, if you want to make a comparison, if that helps, right? So on April the 1st, he is going to segue into a retrogradation, and he begins to retrograde at 27 degrees of Aries all the way back till approximately the 15th degree. This means anybody with about, I'd say 12, 13 degrees. Well, let's not do that because you're really in an inversion. So let's not worry about the degrees. Just know he's retrograding. And as he's going retrograde, in your workhouse, basically the first 3+ weeks of April, bosses, colleagues, coworkers, and employees and employer people from your past are reaching out by phone call, email, and text message. Out of the woodwork come people from your past, from that place of your life. Old health challenges that you thought you'd gotten rid of can come back as well, because the 6th house is your health issues. Now, a lot of you during this retrograde might be rethinking your work. You might be really wondering if you're in the right career or job for you. And you may be pondering that, like, rethinking, revising, revisioning, maybe even designing, having a change of heart or mind about the work you're doing in this world. You've had a chironic wound in the house of health and work, guys, ever since 2019. This is the April month of healing that wound about work, and Mercury's chiming in here. And he's going to help you rethink, revise, and come up with new ideas for a better idea of being on purpose and happy with your work. But also, again, on a very practical note, you'll see people from your past coming up out of the woodwork, and potentially even people you've dated in the past, because dating can be a 6th house matter. But look for those returns of the past coming through for you at this time. One other thing is happening in the month of April is Venus moving into your sixth house of work as well. She slides in there on April the 5th and will stay until the 29th. And she has been coming out of a very nice fertility transit and play and fun and pleasure and more sexual romantic time for you, where she was for the 3 weeks prior to April the 5th, hanging out in your house of romantic love, creativity, entrepreneurship. And so you may have had a run of great creativity, entrepreneurial success, romance, better time with your children, maybe got pregnant for some of you. Yeah, anything's possible. But now she's in the sixth house and she's moved past it on April 5th and she's joined a retrograde Mercury. Therefore, women colleagues and coworkers or healthcare practitioners from your past coming out of the woodwork and coming back to your attention somehow. And then with Mercury, it's usually through, the phone calls and emails and texts and stuff like that. Mercury rules negotiations and contracts. You might be renegotiating the financial contract of the work you do between April the 5th and April the 25th with both a retrograde Mercury and Venus co-present for money and earnings in the workspace. So look for that vibe as well. Then we want to look a little bit at what is happening with Mars, because he started around the 22nd of March to move through Pisces and leaves around the 30th of April. So he's spending all of April in your fifth house in Pisces. And that is like, okay, you could be charging passionately ahead with creative or entrepreneurial projects. You could be arguing with your children. A child could be moving or leaving the house. Your romantic partner, you've been having a lot of fun, sexual sizzle, but maybe even some disagreements. So that's the vibe as he moves through there. If your floating IC is in that part of the sky, because in whole sign houses, it could be floating through houses 2, 3, 4, and 5, for example, even 6, you just might end up wanting to move, travel from home or change your home. All right. You're very competitively oriented. You're moving into a mode of you can do it, I can do it, like an athletic competitor. So your competitive spirit gets fired up as well. Good for being competitive in your life if you need to be during the whole month of April. And Mars is going to hit a bit of a wall during this time, and we'll try to tackle that transit and the breakdown of the story in the chronological order. Okay, so let's get moving through the chronology of the month. Now, let me just take another sip of water because I'm recording these back to back on the 22nd right now of the merry month of March. And let's roll with the next narrative. So April the 3rd, Venus and Neptune come together. This is dreamy, beautiful, romantic, sweet, and harmonious energy because it's Pisces, where Venus is exalted and Neptune is already the enchantment of unconditional love and divine harmony. And they are going to connect in the house of fertility, children, and romance. Now, I would advise you to take April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th and plan a romantic travel trip, opportunity, dinner with someone you love, or it's a wonderful time to go on a first date, baking in something very positive for a first reunion with somebody, first meeting. This energy can also exalt your creative work, your music, your art, your photography, your storytelling, and it's great for the inception of a masterpiece of creativity that you might be able to download and channel into being on April the 3rd and April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And this has been happening every year since 2013, but you won't get much more of this because Neptune's leaving Pisces in 2026 for good. So grab it while you have it, And as for fertility, it's possibly this could bring you a bit of a opening for fertility and pregnancy if that's something you're looking to do. Now, April 6th, 7th, as Venus has moved already now on the 5th, right, into Aries. Now it's the 6th and 7th. She's just at the beginning of your 6th house of work and health and tendencies and pets and rentals. And she's looking fondly back at Pluto in the house of home, property, and real estate. So one thing I could say is an opportunity to get a job from home, work from home, an opportunity to get a pet that you really want to take back to the home, a beautiful pet who's powerful, big, and maybe female. A possibility here of a new contract around finances regarding your work, ability to pay off a debt regarding land, property, and mortgages, refinancing a land, property, and mortgage debt, for example, or things to do with banking and mortgages, refinances, and wealth. All of that is really sweet on you around the 6th and 7th of April. On the 9th, 10th, we're going to come into a Mars story that just happens to occur after the big, giant, total solar eclipse that's swathing through the United States of America on April the 8th. Let's start with the eclipse. You don't have to live in the United States of America or North America for this eclipse to impact you, right? It impacts everybody. And this eclipse is going to be total, so it's extraordinarily powerful at 19 degrees of Aries in the house of work. Now, please go back, if you don't mind, and ponder your reality around 2019 February, when the Chiron entered the work house for you. Work, workplace, colleagues, coworkers, employee-employee relationships, job. And he got there and you felt a wound. Ouch, that hurts. Where have you been wounded in the work and health matters house since that time? Have you felt like you're out of alignment with your purpose? Because Chiron is the key to purpose. And is the work you're doing just not working for you at a deep level? Because that Chironic wound is being really addressed with this eclipse. And go back to March the 5th and April the 19th, if you don't mind, when the mean and true nodes were conjunct Chiron, therefore opening the wound up for investigation and healing. And as this eclipse is going to be total, it's going to be a total healing of that wound through an ending and beginning change energy, vortex, or field of energy. Certainly, for a lot of you, this means a massive change of job and career in the year that follows this total eclipse on the 19th of April. You felt the eclipse beginning to influence you a month before, April the 8th, and up to about 6 months after, you pretty well know what it's about, but it can fulfill itself over the course of 12 months. So look for some radical, exciting healings about the wound, about the work and health matters. Now, you may have had a wound about a rental property and rental situation, about things to do with debts as it applies to mortgages and homes, or even a wound about a pet situation that's finally healing. So these are turning points in those narratives for you. And sure, we had eclipses there last April and eclipse in Aries coming up in late March of 2025, but those were hybrid eclipses. The nodes were not fully present in the sign of Aries Libra. This is the one to pay attention to. It's a big deal. Now, that eclipse, well, it can change your life over the course of many months, is also going to have the vortex around it. I'm calling it the vortex. Oh, yeah, the vortex. We'll get to the vortex in a minute. As this eclipse happens on the 8th, Mars and at the same time, basically, but mostly like the day after, the 9th and 10th of April, Mars will slam into a wall. He's on his jet ski on the waters of Pisces, flowing fast, and he hits a rock in the narrative, or a sea fishing net, and he tumbles over into some calamity in your house of fertility, romance, creativity, and children. Certainly, this can be a blowout with a child or a romantic love partner. This can be a hard stop wall around fertility and pregnancy. This can be a frustration around art and creative projects or entrepreneurial endeavors. So don't forget, the 6th house where the eclipse is happening is not the same as the 5th house where this calamity happens. They're two separate stories. Now, Mars hitting this wall, penetrating the wall maybe, right? Going through the Saturn wall can be a breakthrough in a way, but it's a breakdown to breakthrough, or a hard stop to reset something here. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't start a new relationship for a first date on the 9th and 10th with an eclipse in the dating house and this wall in the romance and sexuality house. But honestly, I mean, Mars is that passionate sexual life force energy, and he hits a wall. It could be something as simple as your love partner saying, I want to be celibate for the next 2 weeks. And you're way, what? So there can be like a hard stop to your sexual life for some reason. Hopefully nothing too hard. It is ruled by Jupiter in the house of your children. I mean, in the house of your love and romantic partner. So it definitely looks a lot like that. But if you're creative and you're putting content or your artistic creations into the world, Jupiter's expanding suddenly and opening up a lot of portals for exposure. But then something crunches here in a negative or hard way on the 9th and 10th, but it will pass. And you'll see why. I'll get into more detail later. Now, Mercury will magically enter the heart of the sun, get divine downloads for you in particular. It's called a kazimi, as he's retrograding, magicking powerfully between the earth and the sun. And he is in the heart of the sun from our perspective on the 11th and 12th of April. It's happening at 22 degrees of Aries in your house of work. Back to the emails, phone calls, and insights and changes of mind and shifts of work. What is going on here? Like, it can be literally the day of the kazimi, 11th and 12th of April, depending on your time zone, hearing from an old boss, colleague, coworker connection that's going to really open up some opportunity for you for something new from the past coming back. but it's also more like insights as well. And you may have an insight into a health matter and a way to resolve it, a divine understanding. Come to my free webinar, Mercury retrograde webinar. It's going to happen shortly before the retrograde of April 1st. Come aboard and get some insights into what to do. In the description box below, I have a link to the free Mercury retrograde webinar. We'll talk about the asteroids and the fixed stars, and we'll learn how to harness this divine energy. It's a very powerful energy of divine will meeting with Mercury the messenger, and see if you can't use that to your benefit when it comes to matters of your work and health matters. I mean, if you wanted a pet, it could be the day that you hear from the breeder or the pet star that your favorite pet is available, or the shelter has the perfect white cat that you've been looking for, but we'll see. Then also we move into now the vortex. The vortex, April 18th to the 21st. What a hot time in our sky. I'm looking up and I'm seeing like a big bird of prey, two birds of prey. I don't know if those are vultures or eagles flying in the high in the sky for you. How beautiful. So you have this energy here of the vortex looking mostly like, let's talk to the major content of the vortex. Not seen since 1941, Jupiter is conjuncting Uranus in the house of marriage, clients and business partners, audience and marketplace. That's your seventh house, Taurus. Now, this can be about someone else. It could be about your major love partner having a massive breakthrough energy of some kind in their lives around the 21st of April at 21 degrees of Taurus, right? Or it could be about you, especially if you are Sun, Moon, and Rising Scorpio close to 21 degrees. But it can be like a business contract, a legal agreement, an audience breakthrough, a marketplace breakthrough, a client breakthrough, or partner breakthrough, or breakthrough in the marriage story. Something like that. Kaboom, positive, Jupiter, benefic, right? Trying to do his best for you, by you. But it's not just about the date, right? People mistake the synodic cycle because big outer planets are about a big story of 14 years ahead, where you as a Scorpio have greater success in audience, marketplace, clients, marriage and business partnerships, legal contracts and agreements. This is your zone of yay you for 14 years after April 21st. Go watch my 2024 big transits playlist, where I put this at the beginning for you near the top of that playlist, because this is one of the biggest stories of 2024. And I've already done that video. It's already out there, maybe at 50, 60,000 views already. Go contribute. Because Uranus is freedom loving and outside the box and inventive and shocking and surprising, I can't tell you what it might be, but your partner may be having something happen that is surprising and shocking for you. If you're already in an existing love story, just know it may be their narrative, not yours. But this vortex also has other elements involved. On the 18th to the 21st, right? Just as we're building up, Mars is cheerleading Uranus and cheerleading Jupiter from Pisces in a sextile. All that means is that Mars is going through your romance, children, creativity, inspiration, art, entrepreneurial business house, and applying positive, cheerleading, motivational energy to Jupiter, Uranus. So this can be also a story at this time of the vortex, the 18th and 21st, to do with a child, to do with a love partner, to do with a romantic partner, to do with a creative project, and a lot of motivational inspiration about getting it into the world, or a breakthrough energy regarding those creative projects and reaching a larger audience, which is the seventh house. Because it is the 10th from the 10th, it is the outpicturing of your Leonine 10th house in the world of the audience and marketplace and fans. Now, the vortex also includes Mercury coming into contact with Venus in a perfect conjunction. So that's happening in Aries while he's retrograde. Females, information, news, contact, information, emails, contacts from the past. Women from the past getting in touch with you April 18th to the 21st. Women you've dated, perhaps, or women in the workplace, perhaps, coming through. And so see how much is going on at once? That's why I'm calling it the vortex. A new contract negotiation and deal for better earnings and revenue, upgrading your paycheck, upgrading your earnings, new job with a better earnings strategy or paycheck or promotion, raise, again, April 18th to the 21st. You could even move to a new level of authority and power in the workplace because of that earlier Venus sextile Pluto, where you get to move to a new level of manager, director, vice president, up the chain of command as well during this month of April, if you're in a job, workplace. Then on April 20th to 21st, in the middle of all of this, the sun will square Pluto. Now, Pluto is giving you wealth, from legacy wealth, from family of origin, from mother, over the next 20 years, from land, property, and real estate. This is where you're generating a lot of wealth. And at this time, Pluto will square the sun, and the sun is in, at this time, April 20th to 21st, in Taurus. A power struggle or conflict with a significant client, legal matter, or significant marriage type partner. Power struggles over things to do with wealth and home. Yet it gets resolved by Venus around the 29th and 30th of April, when she also moves into Taurus in the house of your significant other, soothes the energy of your marriage type partner, your client, your audience, your marketplace, your business partner, or the legal matters of home and property, soothes the energy, as Venus is in Taurus in her kingdom, and she's capable of creating harmony and joy and peace here, to whatever disturbed the peace in a power struggle, a battle of wills even, perhaps on April 20th and 21st. So look for the resolution on the 29th, 30th, and all should be relatively well, I hope. On the full moon, oh, and I want to go back and talk about Jupiter conjunct Uranus before we go, April 20 and 21st. You feel this building, right, on the 15th to the 26th. So it's not building from the 15th to the 21st, waning till the 26th. So it's not just a one and done day. All right. Everything I mentioned about this is longer than April 21st. Scorpio full moon, 4 degrees, happening on the 23rd of the month of April. So a full moon in Scorpio it's definitely something that already started back in October-ish, when you had a new moon here. Right? It could be like October, November-ish, whatever. There was a new moon here. And this energy of a new moon in the fall last year ripens or fulfills itself in the Scorpio part of your sky. Well, come on, I'm talking to you, Scorpio, and it's all about you. What seeds were you planting? What things were you plotting? Is it Scorpio sun? It's career plotting. Scorpio moon, home and nest and safety plotting, or body health plotting. But if it's your rising sign, you were putting some seeds into place last fall in a new moon that now are going to come to fulfillment, fruition, and a completion or a wholeness over the 6 months that follow that lunation that's happening on the 23rd of the month. Add 6 months. And the last most important thing here is this clearing of confusion or uncertainty at the end of the month, particularly the 28th through the 30th, as Mars puts the windshield wiper fog clearer on the speedboat that he's traveling through, and comes after his hard stop wall of frustration on the 9th and 10th in the house of children, romance, creativity, entrepreneurial projects. Then he comes into the fog bank of Neptune, and he has a fog clearing device. And what it means is that the confusion and uncertainty you have around sexuality, romance, children, fertility, your children, conflicts with these people, or creative projects and outlets, you now have a clarity, a sort of spiritual warrior energy, but a clarity of what decisions and actions are best taken by you after this transit completes on the 28th to the 30th. So you're going to know, on a clear day, you can see forever on the foggy water, right? So what are you going to see now that you clearly need to go into motivational action into? And because Mars is clearing through the fog and moving into your work house, a lot of you are likely making work decisions and career decisions in the wake of the fog clearing through the romance, children, and sexuality house. Okay. Some of you, of course, with Mars transiting here, as I mentioned earlier, have a kid moving out of the home. I hope I mentioned that. So in April or the last couple of weeks of March, a kid may say, I'm leaving the nest, mom or dad, I'm moving off to school, or I'm getting out of here and being on my own. I'm not going to be like an adult child living at home. But, or if there's conflict with a child or a love, romantic, sexual partner, then you're clearing the confusion up at the end of the month of April. I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps you navigate your intensity of the month of April. So thank you guys for listening. If you're new to my channel, hit the bell and subscribe. Don't forget that I also have a Patreon community that gets this early access and ad-free content that I just recorded on Friday, the 22nd of March in my time zone. They're getting this today, and you will get this later. Now, some people have already got some of the earlier signs 2 days ago. So if you want early access, ad-free content, then come to see me out for $5 a month. Try me out. You get a Zoom meeting with me every month. You get up to 3 Zoom meetings, depending on your tier. If you want to try me out, come check out my Patreon community. Description link below. I'm giving away Synastry Are You My Person Relationship class, and Chiron, the Key to Purpose. These are gifts from me. These courses have been taught. You get to retake them or rewatch them and learn from them for no cost for any new members coming into my Patreon community. Give it me a try. See if you like it. See if you want to join up. After 1 month, you don't like it, you can unsub easily and you still get to keep the courses. How's that for a lead magnet ethical bribe? All right, we're going to move on to the next few signs. Wonderful Scorpio. Have a wonderful, merry month of April, full of change.